Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Welcome to Evening Tea, the very first evening tea of 2024. Man, I'm not going to even lie. We didn't do evening tea for the last, 2, 3 months of 2023 because it just like poof, blew by us. Everybody's business busy. As you guys know, every last one of my sister friends owned a business and they doing it big. But I wanted to come on here, and usually we do it the third Thursday of the year. I mean, of the month. But as you guys know, yeah, the third Thursday we might be cranking. So I said, let me do it while we all kind of still getting our groove for 2024. And you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please put it in the chat where you're joining us from. I would absolutely love to give you a shout out. Okay. So again, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Put it in the chat where you're joining us from, and welcome to Evening Tea with Gail and my sister friends. As you guys know, I have some amazing women that God has placed in my life. Don't have natural born sisters, but these women have came into my life, and we've been rocking for years. They're old, but I'm not. And so, anyway, you see their faces. Anyway, again, you guys put it in the chat where you're going, and we're gonna just get on here and have girlfriend conversation like we normally would do if we was gathering together. Lisa, tell us tonight what you're drinking, and if you have anything coming up.
So what do I have coming up? I don't know. It's a new year. So the Power Shut Up podcast is kicking into the second part of season 1.
Hey,
starting February 1st. So we have some wonderful guests. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's booked and seals. I ain't gonna say who yet, because we want to make sure. But I'm looking forward to that, among so many other things. Yeah, I think you'll talk about some things, but yeah, I think I'm focusing on that and just getting things in order. I've been doing some winter cleaning, so I am in clean mode right now. So I ain't been doing nothing. I ain't been on those. I dipped into social media, but I'm just cleaning up. That is my lane. I've been throwing stuff out. I've been to Goodwill 5 times. Been to the dump. I'm excited. Like, ooh wee, it's a new house up in here.
Yeah.
And I am drinking my ultimate favorite. I have several favorites. Yeah, Tawan, your tea is still my favorite, but I'm going a little stronger this time. So I have my Baileys in my cup.
Okay. All right.
You have some
Tawan.
Baileys, some Baileys.
Yes. Tawan, tell us what you're drinking and tell us what you have going on at the beginning of 2024.
Can y'all believe this is really different for me? So this will be the first time probably since COVID. I think I did it one time. I did it last year or this last year that I'm not doing anything about the vision board experience. So that it's just really kind of odd for me because it's something I've done over the last 10 years, really. Mm-hmm. So it's odd not to be doing that. So I kind of feel out of sort. What I have going on is I'm still in my revamp phase because there is just some new things that is going to go on with TLC consultancy and how I'm moving the women walking in my own shoes movement up under that, and how it's just going to be I want to have a clean transition when we come out. So I am still cleaning up, revamping, and how that's going to look. And everybody will get to see that come February, mid-February, we'll get to see that. So that is what I'm really working on. And I am, like you, Lisa, in cleanup mode. So cleaning up my office, cleaning up the emails, everything, all those things, because I did take some time for myself last year. That's important. A lot of times we don't do that as women, especially when you have businesses and things like that. So I took some time for me, and I'm not feeling guilty about it either.
Absolutely. So tonight, and you shouldn't feel guilty because without you, all these other things can't happen.
Right.
And I had to kind of learn that since July, right? Mm-hmm. And so, what are you drinking?
So I am drinking one of Tea Lovers Cafe's faves. It's called Mulled Wine, and it's spiked with a
Oh,
look,
okay.
look, and it's spiked with a little white, some Jack Daniels white cider.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
okay. Y'all going hard. Again, you
Mhm.
guys, thank you so much for joining us. Put in the chat where you're joining me from. And as you guys know, I am drinking Tea Lovers Cafe. And I found a little corner. I'm not gonna lie, a little bitty corner, and I'm hoping that it's gonna seep good. But it's Tea Lovers Cafe, and it is strawberry seduction. Mm.
You still got some of that left.
Girl, listen, it was just a little corner, and I put it in a bag, and so I'm drinking some strawberry seduction. Girl, I had to dig deep, and if it Gil would have went through it, it would have been in the trash because it ain't a lot, but it's gonna do what I needed to do. Okay, and so what do I have going on? I
Yes, we did.
have Dr. Gail on love, sex, and marriage. We wrapped it up. Yeah, I am just overjoyed. Lisa is one of my producers, and I am just so grateful. So we wrapped that up at the end of last year, and we just had a production meeting today, and so it's going into editing sometimes next week or the week after next. So that is a blessing. And so with that, I'm playing catch up. I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't checked no emails, and just like you said, Tawan, I had to unplug because I was away from my family for like 20 days. So I just loving on me and trying to catch up and get myself in a space where I can just thrive in 2024. And my platform or my mindset for 2024, because last year was believe for it, this year is look at God, because God's going to do some amazing things in the lives of his people. So that's where I am. So y'all ready to get into some tea? Y'all
Yes,
ready?
ma'am.
And some
Okay,
Bailey. And some Bailey.
Mhm.
girl, this is what blew my mind. Now this is what kind of just blew my wig back. Why did and maybe I don't know enough, but why did NBC hire Snoop Dogg to be one of the primetime commentators for the Paris Olympics? Huh?
I
Look at
can't call
Tawan.
it. I can't call it.
Snoop Dogg. Like I, I don't know him to play. He might have played sports in high school or something, but in the Olympics, don't they usually have old athletes that been to the Olympics or have something
Well,
to
now
the
he does.
background of it?
I believe he is a coach, football coach, or something dealing with his children or boys and girls club or something. But he is something in I think football coach or something. I believe that's the only edge
But
in that I'm
he
aware
don't
of.
now. But there ain't no football in the Olympics, is it?
Well, I was just naming a sport that he might be connected, but I can't call it. I have no idea what the I don't get it, so I don't know.
But like NBC is like a major network. You
It
see what I'm
sure
saying?
is. I tell
I
you
could
what,
see if like maybe
he
YouTube
got
hired
good
him to say
management.
or something,
He got
but
good management. That's all I can say. His management is on point.
How about that? How about that?
and the other thing is that we all know Snoop get high on a regular basis. He out in California, so he can get. My thing is, oh, in Paris that ain't legal. What he gonna do?
Be
Well,
careful.
he might not have to be high all the time.
Maybe not anymore.
I mean, he might. I mean, because he's probably. I mean, we know. I'm sure he's a recreational user. So I'm sure that as a recreational user, he has the capacity to not do it long enough to make sure he get his coins. Because the one thing he's not is stupid. So
Hey, I think he's doing a little less now because he got things to do.
yeah. So
Okay.
He got a busy schedule, so he might be penciling it in. But yeah, I think he'd have maybe changed. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's changed some of his frequency. May have, you know, gone down a little bit. I
Okay.
can't call it though. I just say his management is a beast. That's all I
I'm
can
just
say.
saying it just don't fit. You understand what I mean? And when and he really excited about it. And
You
I
should be.
understand maybe. Do you think it's a ratings thing? Like,
Yeah,
cause
I
that is
mean,
such an odd pairing.
I think maybe they trying to pull in a certain audience, and he has a specific audience that, maybe in the past wouldn't have drawn into the Olympic things like that.
That's
And so I mean, I think he definitely has a specific audience, and if they trying to pull him in, then I think that's maybe what's going on.
Okay,
But
I just
Data Bomb, I'm trying to tell you, he hit the jackpot with them. That's all I can say. They,
okay.
well.
they taking him to the
I'm
bank.
not.
So I
I'm
ain't
not
mad
saying
at
that CBS is God, but God used the unusual, so CBS might be just doing the same thing.
Oh,
Kudos to him and his management team, as Lisa said, because
Yeah,
that is a serious accomplishment,
that's huge.
um, and that's
Yep.
very huge. And I'm sure he had to do some things to prove that he could carry that off. So
Yeah, he doing something.
congratulations to him.
Yep.
ah, okay. All right.
But
I just
I
thought it
can't
was
call it though. I can't call it. Don't you know?
all right. Well, moving on. Now, I, this has happened to me, and I kind of felt insulted. But for me, if I go sit down at a restaurant and they give me service, even if they give me bad service, since they dealing with my food, I always tip. I will always tip regardless, right? Because I might go back and I might get the same person. They be like, you left me you didn't leave me no tip, and you never know what they doing in the back. So I always tip, right? I do. I say please and thank you. But I just think now the tipping has gotten out of control, right? And a
Mhm.
lady went to pick up her wedding dress after it had been altered, right? Her wedding dress was like $2,000. She said she gave she knew she had to pick it up. She gave the lady swiped her card, turned the little iPad around, and gave her the opportunity to tip. Now, my question to you, and she said she felt like you still got my dress, so if I don't tip, what's gonna happen, right? And she said she ended up tipping them $50 onto the $2,000, and then the lady handed her her dress. My question to you guys, because this happened to me when I have ran into like the noodle company just to pick up my stuff or whatever, and if I don't pay online, it's like even if I pay online, they automatically add the tip in, and if you don't go and adjust it, it starts at 20% now. It's no more 10% or whatever. Do you guys have y'all experienced everywhere you go now? They got where you got to tip them, even if you just doing a pickup.
So yeah, so I mean, put I tip all the time too, and I try to I tip DoorDash, I tip, I do extra just because hey, I ain't want to run out there and get it. So thank you for
Mhm.
riding in the rain or whatever it is. But now I don't know if I feel a little differently about altering my dress. Um, depending on that would be it would depend for me. If it's a dress where there's a lot of sequence, or not sequence but beading and things like that, where they delicate stuff, I might expect it out, because I would tip them. I would definitely tip them. But now if I'm just going into a restaurant and I'm picking up my food, and you ain't do nothing but put it in the box, um you're not getting a tip.
But
Like,
I'm telling you, everywhere when you go through the
but they
subway,
gonna
like
offer it. Yeah, they gonna
I
offer it.
went through the subway line, and it was it's 15. They got a tip line going through the subway line now.
Yep.
You like I said, I ran into to pick up my thing, and I hadn't paid for it. And then it's like right there, and then it says edit your tip because they had already put it on there. And I'm like, I'm coming in here. It's not like you said, if they delivered it, then like Pizza Hut, I tipped them $5 or whatever. But my thoughts is, has this gotten out of control? To me, it has, because everywhere you go, somebody's looking for a tip, and it's like At a restaurant, I expect it. I do. At a spa, I expect it.
Mm-hmm.
At certain places, I expect it, but I don't expect it through a subway line. I don't.
Well, and I don't in the subway line. So I mean, I think that now all the machines have the option, but I still option my no. You know, no, I'm not. If I just walked in and you put it in a styrofoam or whatever container and put it in the bag for me, no, I'm not. I'm not tipping. You didn't do anything. I mean,
Okay,
you would have had to do. You would have, but I think that they're offering it everywhere because some people they're put it this way. I think we've come to an age where you don't have to, but we're gonna put it out there and give you the option because some people are gonna feel pressure to do it. So you're gonna get those people who are like, oh my goodness, now if you pressure me, it might be different.
And
But
do you know, it also in some states, this is something that did, and it happened to me in Texas. Now they putting, if you don't pay attention to your thing when you go to a restaurant, some restaurants put their the waiters health insurance as a fee on your thing. You can Google it.
oh, okay.
Y'all drinking on that?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
it's like a line item.
What restaurant would you? Or maybe we
I'm
should.
not gonna say what restaurant, but it was in Texas.
Well,
And
okay.
I said, "What is this?" They said, "Oh, that's for the employees' health care." And I said, "That's not my job. I don't own this corporation. I'm just a patron buying
Now
some
that's
food."
that. Now I don't know what that's about.
I said, "Could you please remove that?"
Do they have that is that restaurant in the DMV?
No, it's not, unfortunately.
Okay.
Oh,
The
okay.
closest one I think is in Atlanta.
Oh, there is one in Atlanta. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So I need to be
But I
watching.
don't know if it's legal in Atlanta. I'm just saying we have to really pay attention to these
Yeah,
receipts,
that's too much.
because I would, if I could, it was only $3 extra, but whenever I sit down and eat, I kind of calculate, what my bill could kind of be. And that if I look at it and it's only like $1, I don't, but I was like, why is it? And then I seen that. And it
I
was
ain't never
right.
seen that before.
No, seriously. You could Google it. And I thought that was just 100% inappropriate. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do us a favor and put in the chat where you're joining us from. We would love to give you a shout out. And you can also join the chat and say if you've ever experienced it. I just feel, and also, like I said, they starting at 20 and 25%. They don't ain't starting at 15 and 10% or whatever.
First of all, that's slick. So I haven't been to a place where the default is 20 and then you have to edit it to make it lower. That's slick. That's
Oh yeah, they starting there, honey.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do 20, but don't you ain't gonna make me do 20. I'm doing 20 because I want to do 20, but for you to put it as the default, and if you ain't paying no attention, then you that's slick right there.
Yeah, and if you look at all your receipts at the bottom of if you go to a restaurant, every last one of them got the tip calculator starting at 20%. So you'll know if you add, just say $7 to your 50, they put 20%, $7 on this 50, it'll make it 57. Like that, they girl.
Well, they've been doing that, but they ain't started 20. I mean, I'm seeing 10, 15.
Have you experienced that one?
Well, we was at a restaurant yesterday, and it was the same way. A restaurant in Pentagon City, and
it started at 20.
Yeah.
Wow. No,
some of them started at 25.
Oh no, I ain't seen that.
Now I haven't seen it all places. It's just so happened I happened to look down at it. I just happened to look down at it, and I was like, oh. Because usually you see 10%, 15%, 20%.
Yeah.
And I was like 20, 25,
30. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, okay, that's different. And I was like, and if that's what I don't choose to give, that's what I don't choose to give. But thank you for the recommendation. It was funny to see that. But I have been in different places where they do ask you if you want to tip.
Right.
I say no, thank you, because if I come in there now at Subways, I might give you a tip because you did make my sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not.
Um,
I'm
I
not.
might, I might. It really just depends on the mood I'm
It
in
should
at
have
the
the
time.
mood. Right.
Yeah,
It
you know,
depends.
I might and I might not, because I know in that industry you're not really making a whole lot of money anyway. So I know the tip helps. Um, I know I went in one place and I asked, who does the tip go to?
Yeah, I do that.
Uh-huh.
Because that's a question you need to ask.
I
Who,
do that.
like, okay, so it's a restaurant down here in Waldorf that I go to quite frequently. I call in my order, I come and I pick it up. When you turn it around, it has the tip part on there.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, who gets the tip? The person who answered the phone, you who are ringing me up, or the
Mm-hmm.
person who packed up my food and did it? Who
Mm-hmm.
gives it? And then she kind of looked and I said, well, who? I said, now I have been to some places and when they say they
Yep.
split it amongst, and if you say
Everybody.
that to me, that's fine. I understand that. But when you can't even tell me who the tip is going to, why would I bother to give a tip?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
You could be
Yeah.
just giving it, the owner could be taking the money for all I know. He might not
And
even
that's
be
my
getting
thing
the
is
tip part.
how does the workers, if they're splitting it, how do they know how many transactions? Does the night manager or the shift manager say, hey Tawan, hey Lisa, hey
It
Gail?
goes into it goes into a pool.
Into a big
Oh.
And then
pot.
they,
Yeah.
yeah, the pot, and then they divide it up. Now, and then when they do it like that, okay, I'm like, fine. But I will ask too, on a credit, especially if I'm playing with a credit card, I always ask them like, okay, so how do you all give them this if I use my credit card? Because I really would prefer to give them cash if they can't really explain how they take it off the card. So I always make sure, because there are ways for them to give it to them right away, even using your credit card. But if they don't tell me that, then I'll just do the cash. But if you're using your credit cards because you maybe don't have cash on you, I mean, I tend to ask, okay, so I'm going to use my credit card, but I do want to make sure that this tip goes to, not the person that cleaned off the table for me, but the person, don't be dividing, because this person spent hours with us, giving us
Mm-hmm.
what we
Service.
needed. So I want my
Mhm.
tip to go there.
Mhm.
And I tend to, and like Tawan said, it depends on my mood. So around the holidays, I'm usually doing extra. I'm probably
And
starting
I
at
do that too, but
25.
during the holidays mainly. And but my thing is that people who are hungry and homeless and all that kind of stuff, and y'all already know how I feel about that whole situation. Um, I tend to give more throughout the year, and I understand that holidays people do more, but just talking to some organizations and stuff that I give to on a normal basis for homelessness and those kind of things, they need gifts and money and all that kind of stuff throughout the whole entire year, just not during the holidays. But they do see a spike and a peak during that time. But again, I just, like I said, this tipping thing to me that got out of control when a lady come to pick up her wedding dress and she feel that she got to give a $50 tip to get her dress. I just think
I would have given them anything else. I just gave you $2,000. Thank you very much for the service that you have provided. And if you act like you're not going to give me my dress, you're going to wish you would have given me the dress. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I probably would. Now I would have tipped, but I wouldn't have. I probably would have questioned. I might not have if it was seeming like you were forcing me, like you gonna do this before I give you this. If we doing that kind of thing, then no, I'm not doing nothing. But generally speaking, I might have, depending, like I said, depending on what was going on with if it was a lot going on with the dress and I had to come in a few times, then I may do something. But don't for I'm just a stickler about, don't be telling me what I'm supposed to do.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Don't flip it
hopefully,
around and be like this, because that's like you holding out your hand. Then I'm gonna just look at you like, hey, how you doing? But yeah, don't force it. Don't force it.
but there's another part to this, Gail, that you didn't speak, because we go to some restaurants and this is what they're doing. They add the gratuity already in the check and don't tell
Yep.
you they added the gratuity. And then you turn around and add the
You do it
gratuity.
again. I've made that
Yeah.
mistake before.
Now I understand when we go places and there's a lot of us and there's a table 6 or 10 that they added in. I get that. I totally get that. But you're right. I don't get it when it's just me. and you automatically gonna put your 20% on me. You know what I'm saying? You
So
But
know,
you
I'm,
got, so you really,
she's saying not necessarily because of big party or whatever, but they'll put the tip in it if you're not paying it. It's certain restaurants, and I think they're more high end to one, if I'm not mistaken.
mm-hmm.
They'll include it on. It could be 3 of y'all. They'll
Mm-hmm.
include the gratuity in the total, but they don't tell you that it's already included. So what you automatically do is
if
tip.
you ain't paying attention,
And
like I was caught that paying for their health insurance.
it wasn't health insurance, but I mean, I done got like that because it's like after I tipped, and I was like, wait a minute, they got a nice tip on this bill, but I wasn't paying attention and I tipped on top of it, and they ain't gonna tell you. So I mean, I think they just trying to, people just out here trying to get their coins, I guess.
They really are, but that's why reading is fundamental. I'm reading the
That's
chat.
right.
At this point now, you really have to start reading your receipts and paying
That's
attention
right.
because it's not now that you're worried about you to overcharge me for something or put something on the bill you didn't. Now you're going to charge me gratuity and then don't tell me and then gratuity again. To me, that's stealing.
Yeah, you tricking me now. So
You
yeah,
tricking me, right?
yeah.
So
And
and I've been
it's
in a
hard
couple
out
of
here.
restaurants I won't go back to because of that.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
I done
It's
been
hard.
got.
It's hard out here. Now, me and Tawan was having a conversation, and I was telling her, I said, Gil and I went to grocery shopping, and we didn't even do no big grocery shopping. I'm telling you, we had how many bags? I told you 4 or 6,
Six.
and they wasn't even filled up. And I had only 2 things of meat: some chicken breasts and a thing of hamburger meat. Other stuff was like tortilla chips, sour cream, stuff to make, and there was $170 something, like seriously. And I was telling her, I said, I don't understand how these elderly people, like when my grandmother and my aunt, and these people on these very fixed income, because Gil and I both are still working, you understand, but these very fixed incomes are able to survive. Because when I tell you, it is ridiculous. One apple now is $1, like $1.10 an apple.
Yeah, inflation is crazy. But I will tell you this, which really blessed me in more ways than one. But I went to the grocery store, and it's around the holidays. It might have been day before Thanksgiving, and I'm just like, hurry up, hurry up. And this older lady was in the frozen section, and she was just kind of standing there. So I was trying to get into the place where she was standing. So I was like, oh, excuse me. So I went in and got what I needed. But then she was like, yeah, I'm just kind of looking for the fresh greens. So I was like, oh, yeah, you're not going to find no fresh greens over here. This is the ready steam, put in the microwave thing. That's where I am. You need to go over to where the fruit and all of that. So she's like, oh, thank you so much. But then, and I just said, look, you said this is look at God. So I got into a line, trying to get into the shortest line, wasn't none of them short. And she happened to be the lady it was a lady in front of me, and she was in front of her. So she was taking a really long time because elderly, they move slow. So I was just like, okay, be patient, Lisa, be patient, Lisa. Because you all looking at each other like, whoo, yes, just. And she got all this cash from the lady. So my thought process was, put your cash up, because the holidays. But then she had all these fives and stuff. It was a guy behind me, and the lady in front of me. She handed the lady a 5 and then told her, send that back. So when she did it, of course, my face was like, oh, you ain't got to do that. That's the first thing you do. Oh, you ain't got to do that. So she said, like she was my grandmother. So I said, yes, ma'am. So I went to the guy behind me, and then she gave her another one and said, get that to her. So I was like, oh my goodness. So then she handed it to the lady behind her, and she said, thank y'all so much. I mean, it's such a blessing. Thank you so much. And I thought, okay, she just shifted my whole mental, because I was in a hurry. And then she checked me because I was really, I had to check myself on that sometimes. But she said, when I was saying, oh, you didn't have to do that. I'm getting ready going to, before I could open my mouth, man, the look she gave me was like, you hush your mouth up right now. I'm talking about the power shut up was like, zip it. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And they started laughing. I said, yes, ma'am. You ain't got to tell me twice. And I said, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And that changed my whole energy. And it just made me feel differently about rushing through, pushing ahead, being impatient. So it gave me a it made me feel better about spending all that money and thinking you ain't getting nothing. I was just like, look at how things just happen for you. It was
Yeah,
just
and so for me, I've been in, and I told Tawan this. I've been in the line a couple of times, and I've seen like single moms, with young kids, younger single moms, and it just, and they was trying to put stuff back because they didn't have enough, and I'm just like, God,
yep,
I know what it is to come from a single mom. You know what I mean? So I was like, how much is you short? 25. I said, just whatever. And it's happened to me a couple of times. Y'all know I go to one store almost every day. And it happened to me with a couple of elderly people. And I said, God, I don't, that puts me in the mind of, Gail, you don't have it all, but you're not where you used to be. Because
absolutely.
me and Gil had one of the biggest arguments in our marriage over $5. One, two, three, four, $5. You understand me? And so I said, God, it put me in the mood where I am. I said, God, thank you for me being able to say, here, go ahead, don't put that back, ma'am. You know what I mean? The elderly person, and it's not like they had a whole bunch of junk. Because if they had a whole bunch of junk, I wouldn't have said nothing. But you got the staples: milk, eggs, the stuff you need to survive, right? And it just put me in a different blessing mood. And one incident changed my life for the rest of my life. And I told Tawan, I will never get those two little boys head out of my head. I was in the Dollar Tree buying a whole bunch of junk for the ugly T-shirt competition we had this last year, and I had spent $37 on stuff that was going to end up in the trash. And this lady was standing behind me, and she was a young lady, and she had two little boys. They looked to be about 4 and 5 around there. And the little boy said, while I was, the ladies came, Mommy, are these Lunchables for dinner? Jesus. And she said, Yeah, baby. He says, Oh my God, I'm so excited. We're going to be having dinner tonight. Like that. And so she scanned and scanned. And then I had, how you get two cards, one is overlapping, so I pulled out the wrong one, right? And I had tapped it, and the lady said, Your card declined. I said, Whoa, why my card and then I looked and seen that it had expired like 2 days ago or whatever. And so I pulled out, while I was pulling out my other card, she was ringing her up, and she had 3 Lunchables in a bag of the puffs, what are those, like Cheetos kind of thing. And the lady said 560. She said, Oh, I forgot y'all $1.25 now. She said, Just take the chips off. And he goes, But Mom, we're not going to have the chips. Jesus. She said, No, we're not. He said, But I really wanted the chips. And he started crying, girl. And I said, and by this time, my card, I said, can you just add that to my, she said, I'm sorry, it went through. And I said, go, I said, ma'am, I'll buy the stuff. She said, oh, no. And then he says, ma'am, can we have a juice box? I said, absolutely. Them little boys took off and got came back with the juice box. And he goes, man, we're going to have the juices, we're going to have the Lunchables, and we're going to have the chips. In that moment, as the lady ringing up, this lady gets on her knees and she said, ma'am, I said, baby, get up. I said, don't you ever bow down to nobody but Jesus Christ himself, and I am not him. I said, you boys want some candy? She said, oh no, ma'am, no, don't get them. And she crying and I'm crying too. I said, no, they can have some candy. They said, we're gonna get some candy too. That was the best $9 and whatever I ever spent. When I got in the car, you know how you get in the car and you're like, yeah, why you didn't buy this? Why you going through this? And I heard the Holy Spirit say, Gail, stop. You was there when you need it. Because my kids will open up a Lunchable and take out the little candy bar and throw the rest of the stuff away. And when I got home, I told them, I said, listen, There are people that are hungry. We send in billions of dollars to Ukraine and everywhere else. There are people right here. And I said, these little kids thought that a Lunchable, a juice box, and some Puff Puffs was dinner.
And you take for granted what you get to eat.
You take
Well,
for
that's what
granted
I'll
what you
tell
get
you
to
later
eat.
because I don't want to. There's something I've been wanting to do for 10 years. Along some of those lines. I don't want to share here, but when I do the gathering, I'll tell you all about it. But it's something that I've been wanting to do. It's a random, just a random act. But it's
I'm
because
in.
those
I'm in.
moments that I've done, I'm one of them people, and I love that I'm around people that do things like that. So I want to start to share ideas of how people can do it. I don't know if I had told Tawan, y'all know Lincoln, my photographer, but
Mm-hmm.
we went down to Times Square to see one of them billboard things I did, but we weren't even, Lincoln and them weren't with us. We just happened to see them going through the tolls. And once we said, hey, we went to the tolls. I didn't pay attention, but when we went through the tolls, they went in front of us and they paid our toll. And I was like, that was so cool. So my thought process was, okay, well, we got another one coming up because you're going to New York, you're going to pay tolls. So the next time I waited till we got really close and you get into that big pool where you move things. I told Lawrence, get in front of them, get in front of them. And we paid their tolls. So it was like a back and forth. And I was like, this is the best feeling ever. You think about people who are nitpicking and I ain't going to do this and do all that. And it was like, they missing out on an amazing feeling because it was nothing to, okay, $5 or whatever it was, but just to see the smile on somebody's face on an unexpected, gift. Not saying it's something they needed or whatever
Right.
it was, but just to realize, oh shoot, it was just, I want to see that smile on your face. You know what
When
I'm
I
saying?
tell you, Lisa, I will never forget those little boys' faces. Never. Because when I tell you, I said, Lord, wow. I'm telling you, that right there changed my life.
Because it blesses
Literally
you.
changed
I
my
mean,
life.
it's not about just blessing them, it blesses you. That's why I tell people,
You're
y'all
right.
have
It
to
blesses
drop
you.
y'all blessings for real.
What's up?
Jordan, what are you doing over Christmas weekend next year? I have no idea yet. We just finished doing that. I don't know.
Right.
Who
But
is
I'm
that?
telling you, for
Who
me,
is Jordan? You know that person?
no, I don't know what we're doing for Christmas weekend over next year. I have no idea. But I'm telling you, Lisa, that was one moment in time I will never forget. And I told Tawan, I said that broke me because I was like, these little boys thought that a Lunchable, some Puff Puffs, and some juice boxes was dinner, and they thought that was like they was getting steak. You understand what I'm saying? And I just, I don't know, that was one that just that touched my heart. Y'all ready to move on?
Come on.
Girl, because I that right there, you know, I told you guys, homelessness and people being hungry bother me. It bothers me to my core. But anyway, y'all hear about the Harvard president? The Harvard president, who was the first African American woman ever elected to be president of Harvard's, school, Claudine Gay, now had to step down because they found out that all her stuff that she submitted to become the president was plagiarized. It was not her work. It was not her stuff. And I just was like, and then also they were really upset because when she went on to testify or come before Congress about uh, the anti-Semitic things that came out of Harvard, that she literally was just like, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it and all that kind of stuff. I just was like, you as an African American woman, and all you guys have your accolades and in your own right, why would you go to an institution like that, break the glass ceiling, and not be legit? Like, why? what was the purpose? Because you not only set us back, you set women back, you set the whole. I just, it's just mind blowing to me. I was so disappointed and so hurt. What are y'all thoughts?
I will say that I am disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice.
Um, I will say I'm disappointed. I'm not going to say that I'm surprised because, unfortunately, she played the game that a lot of them have played for so long. She did some of the things that they have done for so long. Unfortunately, the consequences are much, much harsher when she does it, and it has an impact. Um, we take it we take it very personal in our race because we feel like you just said, it sets us back. It only set us back if we think it set us back. But she really did just play a game that everybody else was playing. Unfortunately, she didn't realize that she was still black and she couldn't play their game.
Because
Period.
evidently it's one man. His name is Christopher. I forgot his last name. He has not felt comfortable with her getting that spot, and so he was looking,
So he did his
searching
due diligence.
everything on her, and he went through. She didn't plagiarize everything, but it's like she took pieces from Lisa, took pieces from you, took pieces, and put it together, and he uncovered everything and brought it to the board. And Harvard was not really going to do anything, and then when she went before that, that hearing, and then he just like, and she's anti-Semitic, and she's okay with this, and this is not the direction we want to take the, our prestigious, school, and the alumni is upset, and just it became a whole big thing. So she decided to step down, even though
Um,
she's still going to be part of the faculty, which I think she should, because he's got it out for her.
And I'm gonna say this: she probably really didn't plagiarize some things. She probably used them and didn't use the right quotations, or she probably didn't give people the credit where it's needed,
Yeah.
because there's so many people who have done that, and
Mm.
you just didn't state where you got it from correctly or whatever like that.
Uh-huh.
When somebody truly wants to come for you,
They will.
not comfortable, they're going to make the narrative look any way possible. So until I can see all the facts that she really has plagiarism, I'm not even going to say I know if she did or did not. But I'm sure he made it so uncomfortable to the point where she had to step down and made it, because people do that. Unfortunately, I seen it happen on my job to one of the African American SESers, and somebody got really upset about something a decision he made, and they went digging for something, and they wound up letting them go. But they didn't do their due diligence when they did their digging, and he let them go. He knew they didn't do their due diligence, and they had to bring them back. So it is unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? It is unfortunate. Whatever it is I think it's unfortunate that people are still not comfortable with people of color, and especially women, taking prominent roles that they think that belong only to a certain class or race of people, and that you will go through this length to impact this woman's whole livelihood. When, sir, you probably live in a glass house, and there's some things that you probably would never want anybody to know or understand about you. And that's all I have to say. Go ahead, Lisa. I'm
I
going to practice shut up now.
Well, I'm just gonna say, because I don't know. Um,
Mhm.
so it's hard for me to say, but if she did, I hope that she didn't. But if she did, that is, I don't know a word that I can use, but that is just absolutely awful for so many reasons. Even
Yeah.
if, she had some good intentions, all of that could have been wonderful and good, but it just was not a smart thing to do going for a position like that. I would just assume that people who go for positions like that and hire whatever, or any position, I shouldn't even say, just that you make sure that you are absolutely representing who you are,
Mhm.
because I'm just kind of surprised that she wouldn't think that this would happen if she didn't dot all of her I's and cross all of her T's. Like, I don't know how you could go into that position and not make sure you absolutely don't.
Yep, because you know they're coming for you.
Right,
Hi,
you already
Rosalinda.
know.
How are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, but
Yeah.
I hope that she didn't. But if she did, even if her intentions were good, because it's not fair to some. I mean, because to me, if she did it, then you ultimately stole that position from someone else,
Yeah.
Yes.
and
You are
that's what makes it hard.
somebody who, like you said, dotted their I's and crossed all their T's and legitimately did the work or whatever. But it was just very disappointing for me to read
Yeah.
that. Now, Tawan, you are a big, huge Target shopper. My
Yeah.
question for you. Oh,
Oh.
you are too, Lisa? What Tajay, as y'all call it? You know, I'm with the other person. I like the other
Mm.
store, and I go pretty much every day, and
I love
everybody
that for you. I love that for you.
and everybody knows me in my store. But anyway, have you guys heard about the Stanley Cup? It's a cup that people are standing outside of your favorite store at 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning to get this cup. Well, it's a water cup and it's made by a Stanley Cup. You know the Stanley Cup, the people. But now they was selling for a little bit of money, and now people are selling them on eBay and all these places for $200 and $300 for this cup. Do y'all got the cup, Stanley Cup?
I'm
No.
not interested, but they just doing what everybody again. They just doing what everybody else does with everything.
So they showed like all the targets have ran out of this particular cup, and now people, because it went viral on TikTok, so people have been standing in line, people fighting over the cups, and I seen the cup on, and I was like, I didn't, I mean, I seen it online. I wasn't impressed. It's just a water cup, but okay.
Well, but that's not new. I mean, do you all I'm gonna age myself, but y'all remember Furby, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing.
Okay.
People stood in line and got this ugly little things, and my sister was one of them for my child. But some people bought as many as they could, and then they went right on over to eBay. That's how a lot of that stuff is over there, and they triple, quadruple, and whatever because people wanted it that bad. If you find out that somebody wants something bad, you go over there and spend $5 for it, and then you go over there and charge 500 for it. It's a crazy
Supply and
thing.
demand.
It's
Supply and
just a regular though. It's a regular kind of cup.
supply and
Girl,
demand. Supply and demand.
oh, girl,
Supply and
get out of
demand.
my life. Get out. That's my niece, y'all. She just came from playing basketball, and she gonna show y'all her little injury. I ought to break it for you getting over here.
No, it's like spring.
Get off it. Get out.
You
Anyway,
wait.
we talk. I'm talking.
Wait, real quick.
No.
Can you help me make them chicken?
You don't talk to me right now. Anyway, you think I'm playing, but you about to get it. All right. So I just want to know, had y'all seen that in y'all favorite store? Because it is that went bananas.
No, but I
Okay.
wouldn't have bought if it was $1. I wouldn't. Yeah,
Okay. All right. What do
Me,
you
look,
guys?
me either, Lisa. So
yeah,
look.
not interested.
No,
Okay, this gonna be our last name for tonight. Did y'all see Kirk Franklin? And I did a duet talking about it. Backing it his thing up on this one of his backup singers at a
No,
concert. Yes, he did it. And then also I found out that he'd been selling liquor at his concerts on his tour. My question to you guys.
he's selling the liquor, like, or he has a liquor license so it can be sold. When you say he's selling
right.
his concert, what does that
Well,
mean?
at his concerts, he's able to put stuff in, in stadiums,
Right.
and so they're selling liquor
Hmm.
at the stadium, and people are partaking of those that and going into the, I don't know if it's a worship service or an entertainment thing at this point in time, but Kirk Franklin, it's a video. If you go to my TikTok, you will see he backing it up on one of his backup singers, and she's looking like and he thought it's funny. And I did a duet because I didn't find that funny at all. For one, he got a whole wife. Why are you doing that? And this is supposed to be a worship experience. And I understand that he can entertain. And I'm not saying just because you are a gospel singer that you can't have fun. But I just thought that was very inappropriate for him to be backing it up on some other woman when you got a whole wife, and then on top of it, it's supposed to be a worship experience. Y'all got anything to say?
Was it a worship experience or a
That's what I was
concert?
going to ask.
Because
It's
there's
supposed to be a worship experience.
Because he's not used the
yeah.
You sure it wasn't an entertainment experience?
I think it was a concert.
Okay, if you go listen to the song, I mean,
It's not about the songs. Was he in church leading a worship experience? Or was
okay,
he, because you said he was at a stadium. So first at a
We
stadium,
were putting on a show.
he was putting on a show.
okay,
Second, with the liquor, he has probably nothing to do with the liquor. It's probably the stadium who has the liquor license and sell the liquor. And the stadium probably dictates what they're going to sell at any concert. And
okay,
he probably
Because they're going
has,
to get their money.
because
So
they're going to get their money right. He probably has no say that you can, or he probably doesn't even ask.
okay.
he
Or
might
no,
have been okay with
or
it because
care.
it was entertainment. I mean,
Right. So the whole, so I'm going to say this. I think everybody who has followed Kirk Franklin, has seen him, whatever, knows that he had suffered from some type of sexual addiction, with porn or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not truly delivered from that, because that can show up in different ways. Maybe now you're not watching it. That's what made you jump behind her and start gyrating. I mean, whenever you see him singing whatever, some of his moves, I'd be like, you're real good. You bring the songs and you can sing and you can do it. But sometimes some of your moves, I'd be like, man, okay, you're a little bit much. However, I do think maybe that was inappropriate. I will say that I think that's inappropriate. You're right. He has a whole wife at home. Did she not move out the way? Because see,
Oh, the lady was just like, the lady didn't know what to do. She like,
what you mean she
she's
didn't know what to
singing.
do? What you mean she don't know how to do? She's a grown
What I'm
woman.
saying
She
is,
could've moved, step
you
out the
gotta
way.
see what he went and did.
Okay.
She's singing, and all of a sudden he all this, yeah.
And while he doing all like this, I would have been moving up to the front, or I would have been
What
turning
you
around.
doing, Lisa?
you would have got a hand in
Back
the
up.
chest or back, whatever.
Back it up. Right. Back it up.
You would have got the wall. You would have got the wall.
You would have got You would got you. I mean, so it's some things she could have done. Now, of course, she probably didn't do it because that's who's paying her check. She didn't want to embarrass him, and it
No,
probably was a shock.
her face is like, what do you do? It's she, yeah.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying about her face. But what I'm saying is, she probably didn't open her mouth because that's how she getting paid. You know what I'm saying? She probably did. But I'm like, Lisa, I would have been like this now. Whoa. Now, but I'm gonna say he just did our New Year's Eve service for our church.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good, because our pastor said, I have a surprise for you all, and it was Kirk Franklin, and he was awesome. However, one of his outfits, I was like, where your shirt at? Because see, now you in church. You know what I'm saying? Where's your shirt under here? Why you ain't got no shirt on under this vest? But then I was like, all those lights and stuff, maybe it could be the heat. Let's be very clear. It could be the hot. So you have it on for all the perspiration.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I can't say no, ma'am, because I don't know what his body does under all them heat, and I'm not going to try to assume. All I'm going to say is maybe the lights. Because then he went on and he changed, and he had on a T-shirt, and he put on a T-shirt and had on. So, I mean, because he had on a vest and a jacket. It's just he didn't have any shirt on under the vest. And I was like,
no, ma'am.
No, but see, saying no, ma'am is like, and we don't.
No, what I'm saying is, where you were going. Okay, I heard y'all when y'all said, okay, he's in the stadium. He don't have no control over the liquor bin because those people gonna make their money. Of course, you would think that even though, the church people, most people would be like, I'm not doing that since I'm in it. But y'all say he was more entertaining.
Let me stop.
He's
Church
entertaining.
people
What church
drink.
people you talking about?
I'm not saying the church people don't drink. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying most of the time you would think, but again, y'all said he was more entertaining than was leading them to worship. Okay. Now go fast forward, he's at your church.
Mhm.
You know you at a church, you're not at a stadium.
Mhm.
You don't come into church with a vest on with no shirt under and a jacket. That's inappropriate.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I done seen some Bama's walk in church looking like that, so I don't know. I'm just
It's
saying.
inappropriate.
Yeah, I have to go.
So
I go
who?
with Gail on a no shirt under a vest because that's just Bama. I don't care whether it's Kirk Franklin or whatever.
Right.
That's tacky. And you being Kirk Franklin, you supposed to know better than that. But now I'm gonna say with the alcohol, if you think about it, even Constitution Hall, if he went to Constitution Hall, wherever he went, that hall is going to, you can drink whatever you want to. So he ain't responsible for if you throwing back whiskey sours and Baileys like I'm drinking over here, versus wine. That's on you. Okay. Long as I'm not sitting up on stage and I'm, sipping with you. But yeah, that part I can deal with that. But the no shirt in your church under the vest, it's a no for me. I get
It's a no for
But
me
but but
too.
but this is and this is the thing.
how to not.
It's a shock to see, but it's not like a whole lot was exposed. This right here. This right here.
Tawon,
It's
you
just
can
you're
try
not
to
used to
cover it
seeing
up and
nobody
make it
not.
up or
You
whatever.
knew he ain't had no shirt up on it. Once you knew he didn't have no shirt on, you like, okay, so you not at home.
No, well, I just said it's odd to not
do
wear a
better.
shirt with a
Ours
suit.
was very nice.
I mean, how often do? But I have seen people, and I'm like, you really got on a suit with no.
Like you say, he should know better, and he
Put
does
some
know
clothes
better.
on, Kirk. Put some clothes on.
Put some clothes on and quit gyrating on somebody else and gyrate on your
Yeah,
wife.
he would have got a wall for that. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I kind of would have blocked them. Delvine said hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Delvine. How are you? I appreciate you for getting on.
No,
Well,
shirts on.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I'm not going. I had two other.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
Y'all want to go with Mr.
Let's do it.
Jakes?
Let's do it.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Jakes, TD Jakes.
What is it to be said? Truthfully, what is it to really be said about that whole situation until it all plays out?
I don't think it's a lot to be said. What I will say is that you have lawyered up and you have scandaled up. And what is the purpose of that if there's no validity to it? That's Gail.
Protect your brand.
Yeah, I don't know that would be, I mean, either way, I think that's what you need to be doing.
I disagree. I do. And maybe it's not because I'm not his level.
I've seen innocent people, if you don't and you didn't, then what?
What I'm saying is that why would you need to lawyer up and scandal up? And when I say scandal up, he hired a firm that, fixes it, erases it, or whatever. My thing is, if you don't have nothing to hide, you ain't done nothing. Why waste your money?
Is that really how that works, though?
Right.
I mean, really, is that really how that works? I mean,
protect your brand.
People say it, but in real life, and we can talk about your jobs, whatever. You can, and I'm not saying this either way. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that that's a sign of guilty.
Guilt. Right.
Because if you don't and you didn't, and somehow they did something that twisted it, then where are you? So I don't know that's not a good move regardless. I know that
he admits it being he admits it being at the parties, and I'm not saying
I don't care about him being at the party. I really don't
that's been around forever. They've always been at the parties. Yeah.
I want to know why is it so important now? Because it has what they're showing is probably over what 7 or 8 years old.
It's past
10 years, something like that. Why is it important now? I think that's the question somebody should really ask. This is not something that has never come up before.
Right.
It is only because Diddy is being trashed at this point. So now they're going to trash anybody who is associated with it. Somebody went and dig that all the way up because they want to now start taking down anybody who is attached to him. Why? Because if it was so scandalous then, why didn't we just act like a fool then?
Again,
So he still he does need to
my
protect
thing is,
himself.
I'm not saying if he's guilty or not. My thing is, why would you go and spend that kind of money if you don't have, there's no validity to none of it?
I
But
don't think he has a choice. I really don't.
Yeah, he does not. And I'm gonna say this. I have a friend whose son is going through some serious things based on baby mama.
okay,
It was no longer we can play this game. You go get you a lawyer. We cannot go back in court no more and deal with this the way it's being played out. You go get a lawyer, because if you don't, you're not protected. You keep saying, I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything. But when you go in, you're not protected.
That's
You
only
have to go
according
in
to you.
protected.
Right. That's only
It
according
doesn't
to
make
you.
him right, wrong, or indifferent. It means somebody has to speak up for him, know what the things to say, and protect him, because he don't know all the laws. He don't know all the things. He don't know what to say, not to say. So
And
he had to go protect it. So he had to get a lawyer.
You can be clean as a bird. You can go into a courtroom, say the wrong thing the wrong way, and send yourself up the river, and you didn't do anything. And that can happen, and it has happened. So I don't know that he had any choice, regardless of, I don't know whether he
okay. If you hire a lawyer, okay, but why do you need to hire?
But who are we to say who you hire to defend you? That's the problem with us as people. I don't give a crap.
These are money, big money problems.
He got money.
This what they got all got to do. Believe it or not, all of them do this. All of them. When they get caught up in stuff, they got somebody to handle the scandal. They got somebody to twist it back. They got a lawyer to make sure they can handle it behind the scenes. They all do it. They all do it.
Yeah.
They got them on lock. So anytime there's anything you seen out here that was scandal, I'm sure Diddy got it. They got it. Some of them don't work, but they got
right. Some of it doesn't work.
Absolutely. They'll twist the scandal into think about what's his name? What's the Edward Scissorhands guy and Amber, whoever it was.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Depp.
They had scandal people because they knew that this was going to blow up, and there were people who was going to hate this one and hate this one. But there were people that were working to change the perception of each one of them as they were going through this. Those them scandal people, all these like rich, what they say, rich people problems. This is what they got to do. When you get up into that tax bracket, you ain't got no choice. You can walk around here talking about, I didn't do it. You can do that if you want to, but you're going to spend some money to say I didn't do it. Otherwise, you cannot do it, and they still going to take you through the ringer that would bleed you dry. Just because you said, no, I'm standing on my word, and I don't have to pay nobody to stand on my word. And they're going to sit your butt right on down.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. That's how R. Kelly got away for so long. That is how R. Kelly got away for so long. It's just certain things that shift something, and you got with the right. It was the right family who brought the right charge.
Think about all the things when you got that there was some little juice about somebody, and you was like, what? And then the next 2 weeks, it was something else going on. Then that's your.
You ain't hear about it no more.
That's your people. They done worked something out. They done moved it into something else, and then people just forget about it. That's how they. Don't mean it didn't happen. Don't mean that it wasn't nothing to it. But now we're not talking about it no more because their people were able to shift the attention somewhere else or move it to something else. That's what they do. It's just
or they wrote those nice checks. Or they wrote those nice checks like Michael Jackson and all that old stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. How many kids they say he was in the bed with, the monkey, the kids, and everybody else? Them parents knew or didn't know. But it went away. What we know is they never took him to court. They never took him to jail. That's what we know.
I think it's part of their life. I think
it has to be
where he is and who he is. He would not have been. That's like asking a celebrity to go into the grocery store alone and not in disguise. You're gonna have a situation. You're gonna have a situation. As much as you don't bother nobody, whatever, go and walk up in there if you want to. Go and walk. Janet ain't walking around just willy-nilly. Like, I mean, I'm just a regular person. Okay, regular person, going up in the grocery store and go buy you, stand in line with everybody else, see what happens. I mean, it's just part of how they have to live, unfortunately. Yeah. And they gotta have the money. That's why they gotta have the money, because the more money you make, the more people you gonna pay to help you through these kind of situations. Unfortunately, he's dealing with this, but I don't know whether he did it or not. But I mean, I think that was a smart move, regardless of.
Well, see, to me, that was a red flag. But okay, I have to see it different. But we'll see how it all plays out anyway.
If somebody accused, I mean, how long do you think you would let, if somebody accused you of something, bad?
This happened, and he lawyered up the very next day or so.
But that's what they do, though. I mean,
okay,
they don't wait. But say somebody accused you of doing something, and you kept saying, "I didn't." But that's not what's going on. People are still kind of, charging you with it, and you ain't even gone to court, nothing else. At some point, do you say, "Look, let me get a lawyer to work with me on how I can maneuver through this"? Does that mean that you did it, or does that mean that you just got somebody to help you to make sure that your truth gets heard? Because
I mean, like I said,
so what is the charge? So what are they accusing him of outside of going to Diddy's party?
They're accusing him of being having sexual encounters with him and other men, and
has any other man came out and said that he had sex with him?
I don't know. I guess not. I don't know.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything.
I mean,
I haven't heard of anything besides
all these years.
Again,
nobody ain't pop out the. Again, my question is, if this girl would not have come, if Diddy didn't just write this check to this young lady that he had to write this check to, would this really be an issue for TD Jakes? Because again, you went back and pulled out a 10-year-old video clip and that we all done seen before.
Well, the thing is that not only that, but she turned over his former wife's burner phone. She turned over some jump drives, and she turned over some other videos that the FBI now have and are working through, because evidently it has a lot of damaging information and stuff on there.
But is it damaging information on TD Jakes, or are we assuming it's TD Jakes because they showed the video with him? See how association with something, because nobody's saying this is what it is. We're just trying to make 2 + 2 be 4.
Yeah. And again, I don't know what's on any of those things. I don't think nobody does besides the girl Cassie, Diddy, and the FBI. So anyway, on that note, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for our very first evening tea of 2024. Lisa, thank you so much. Tawan, thank you so much. And thank you guys for all you guys joining me on my YouTube and my Facebook page. Again, you guys, we're going to be here every third Thursday of the month. Again, you guys have an amazing, amazing night.